Welcome to the history of the Yamaha YZF R1. The bike that redefined the sports bike class. Launched over 20 years ago, the iconic 1998 red and white Yamaha YZF R1. The Yamaha R1 was a brainchild of Kunihiko Miwa, who repositioned the gearbox main shaft above the crankshaft, resulting in the world's first vertically stacked gearbox. This revolutionary design allowed the R1's motor to not only be light, but also allow for a longer swing arm for greater traction. When the Yamaha R1 arrived in 1998, it completely blew away the competition. The first modern sports bike had arrived. It would run rings around the heavier Honda Fireblade due to its 177kg dry weight and 150 brake horsepower. 2000 was the first update to the R1, sporting a titanium exhaust end can and now finished in a deep purplish blue. Yamaha discovered the motorcycling world wasn't quite ready for a bike as violent as a 1998 model, so with over 150 modifications, the goal was to tame this beast. Changes to the carb settings, gearbox and chassis meant it was transformed, though don't for one second think this bike went soft in any way. It would still scare the pants off anyone who didn't treat it with respect. 2002 came to help further refine the bike and help it work with the rider with the introduction of clever fuel injection. The slick fueling meant the bike continued to be that bit easier to pilot. With competition advancing and the liter bike market creating all the headlines, Yamaha went straight back to the drawing board, completely reinventing the R1 in 2004. Obvious changes were under-seat twin exit exhausts, projector headlights and radially mounted front brake calipers, as well as an all-new styling of fairing with lush paintwork. Not so obvious was the fact that this bike now produced 172 brake horsepower from the new 998cc inline-4 engine, meaning it was now the first bike to produce 1 brake horsepower per kilogram of weight, since it came in at 172 kilograms dry. Further changes to geometry and weight distribution meant the R1 was less likely to wheelie. A factory installed steering damper also helped eliminate the tendency for a tank slapper. Despite this total revamp, the bike actually failed to excite riders in the same way the 1998 model had done so. As well as this, there was also stiff competition from the likes of Suzuki with their incredible GSX-R 1000. 2006 saw minor tweaks to the R1, a stopgap if you like, released as a special edition in the Kenny Roberts yellow and black painted finish, though there was an R1 SP for the die-hard fans. Limited to 500 models and a price tag of £14,000, the R1 SP came with upgrades like a slipper clutch, Olin suspension and forged Marchesini wheels. In 2007, Yamaha decided to bin their tried and tested 5-valve per cylinder head in favour of a traditional 4-valve setup. This new engine, coupled together with ride-by throttle, a feature no other liter bike had, as well as variable length inlet trumpets, meant this R1 still had the bad boy engine manners of the original 1998 model. The chassis was also updated with a new frame, swing arm and suspension. Yamaha had given the 2007 R1 some fighting spirit, but sadly, even with all of those changes, it just wasn't enough to secure the sales the original bike had. Yamaha realised it needed to do something radical, and in 2009 they did just that. This bike is arguably the most significant liter bike to emerge since the original 1998 model. Why was this bike so special? Well, it came with a truly unique engine, the cross-plane crankshaft. This engine is simply sensational. Where a conventional inline-4 pistons move in pairs, the cross-planes pistons are spaced unevenly, creating a unique firing order. This was technology lifted directly from Valentino Rossi's factory YZF M1. The world went crazy for this bike. Even though it was a lot of cash at the time, it was an enormous sales success. Not much had changed with the R1 in 2012. A financial crisis effectively put the brakes on the development of the Japanese motorcycle market. The updated 2012 R1 featured the firm's first sports bike traction control system, thanks to the help of their MotoGP team. It was a 6-stage traction control system incorporating anti-wheelie in its most intrusive mode. Aside from the new foot pegs, ECU tweaks and a new nose, Yamaha were caught napping. There was an onslaught from the competition, Aprilia with their RSV4, Ducati with their Panigale, and not to mention the new king of the superbike world, the mighty BMW S1000RR. The update clearly just wasn't good enough. After 6 years of the bang, Yamaha deemed it was time the R1 got a proper upgrade in 2015. Yamaha created a superbike to beat the best of its European rivals. Inspired by the 2011 Yamaha YZF M1, the 2015 Yamaha R1 was smaller, lighter and more powerful than ever. The R1 was the size of a 600, with the power delivery of a turbocharged 1000. Yamaha built on the Big Bang engine and turned everything up to 11. Sophisticated electronics package visible through a TFT dash interface meant this bike had more in common with its MotoGP cousin 3000 than you would believe. The 2015 R1 is an aggressive, angry, race-focused superbike created for serious track day riders. Then if this wasn't hardcore enough for you, a second, higher spec limited edition model was produced called the R1M. It differentiated from the standard model by having more expensive components, such as electronic semi-active Öhlins suspension, carbon fibre bodywork and stickier Bridgestone tyres. The R1 is known still today as a hero of the motorcycling world. Ask anyone, including your nan, and they will understand what the R1 is. Thank you for watching.